What's up, Colorado State Rams fans? What a game by your Colorado State Rams, who won tonight 56-55 over the San Diego State Aztecs. A huge win in Moby Arena, their second to last game of the year at Moby Arena. And Colorado State, they couldn't lead for the entire way until 1 minute and 10 seconds left when Prentice Nixon was able to hit a free throw. And then the Aztecs were able to go down and score to take the lead back, but the game wasn't over there yet because Emmanuel Amagbo, he hit the heroic three-pointer. He hesitated, then he shot it, he made it, and he told us after the game that was the very first time in his life that he's ever hit a game-winning shot. It was a three-pointer. The Rams held on to win 56-55, and they improved to 20-9 overall on the season. That's a great record. They're tied for first with Nevada currently in the Mountain West Conference. Who would have thunk it? Who would have believed that a team with only 7 players could pull together in a game like this against San Diego State, who has more height, more length, arguably better coaching in Steve Fisher, a great defensive scheme that always throws teams off. And if you go back to the first half, Colorado State started out terribly. They couldn't buy a bucket, and combined Gian Clavel and Emmanuel Amagbo, the two leading scorers, the two best players on the Rams, they started 0 for 4 as Colorado State started 0 for 5 combined overall. But they finally got it going, and CSU trailed by only 1 when J.D. Page hit a buzzer beater three-pointer. And that was the first instance of Moby Madness, not only tonight, but all night long. There were 7,800 people here in attendance. It wasn't all the way a sellout, but it was pretty near that. It was about 80% full, and it was incredibly loud here at Moby Arena. Then Amagbo picked up his second foul with only 9 minutes to go in the second half, so then he had to sit for the rest of the half. That's when Colorado State really struggled. They struggled mightily against San Diego State as the Aztecs ended up taking a lead. The Rams were only down 2 when Amagbo got that second foul, but then they pushed their lead all the way up to 15 points at one point. And CSU, they just simply couldn't score inside or outside, especially outside where they were 1 for 12 from downtown for the first half. And those shooting woes continued into the second half, but they just kept shooting threes. But meanwhile, for San Diego State, Malik Pope, who has been a Colorado State Rams killer in the past, he led San Diego State with 10 at the break. Also leading them was Trey Kell, who had 10 points at the break. Well, he ended up getting into foul trouble. We'll get back to that in a second. But the Rams trailed by 12, 33-21, and they were at halftime, and they were combined 8 of 28 from the floor. That's pretty terrible, and that's what they shot in the first half of the game. It was 26%. The second half started off rough for the Rams too, as they turned the ball over immediately, but then they finally got it going when Page hit a 3, and then Clavel was able to steal the ball back and take it to the rack for a dunk. And he said after the game, Gian Clavel did, that when he stole that ball, when he ran it down and dunked it, that the crowd was so loud that he actually got goosebumps, and he thought that that was the turning point in the game. I do too, although Colorado State still couldn't finally take the lead until the very last minute of the game. At that point, though, Colorado State had come within 4 points of the Aztecs as they couldn't score. San Diego State couldn't for 3 minutes and 30 seconds to start that second half. Colorado State still, they couldn't capitalize enough. They were missing a ton of jumpers. They were missing a ton of inside shots as well. It was a very physical game, and interestingly officiated game, we will say, on both sides. There were bad calls both ways, and Colorado State, they couldn't push ahead. With 8 minutes to go, they were down only 6 points, but finally, with 2:20 to go, his deep contested two-pointer for Gian Clavel, who finally got it going late in the game. He was very bad for most of the game, but he ended up with a game-high 18 points and 10 rebounds. He went 6 of 24. 6 of 24. He said he never shot that many shots in his career, in his life. And he, from downtown, Clavel was 2 of 15. Even Emmanuel Amagbo had to make fun of him after the game, but Clavel made that deep 2, and then a few possessions later, Prentice Nixon went 1 of 2 from the line, and Colorado State finally took that lead, 53-52. It was their first lead of the game with only 1:10 to go. But what did the Aztecs do? Well, they were able to go back down. Dakari Allen, he scored on a drive to push San Diego State ahead, and he was fouled, so then he pushed them ahead by 3 points with only 1 second to go. With only 36 seconds to go. And CSU dribbled it up. Nico Carvacho got the ball in the lane, down 2, but he instead pass it out to Emmanuel Amagbo. Amagbo, he stood there, he hesitated, and then he shot the ball and he made it. He rattled it home. San Diego State answered with a deep three of their own from half court, missed, and Colorado State won. The Rams fans actually rushed the court. Cheers to Ram Ruckus, who did incredibly well. They really showed out with all their students. Student support was phenomenal tonight. The city of Fort Collins really came out and supported Colorado State tonight as well. And it was a huge game against San Diego State that Colorado State won. It was an orange out, and they couldn't shoot, but they finally won the game in the very end. This was a magical game, and this is a magical team. In fact, it's a magnificent team. The Magnificent Seven has won another game, and they're going on to play Wyoming at the end of, or in next week, in a few days actually, Tuesday. It'll be the last game at Moby Arena all year long, and then they play Nevada for the Mountain West Conference regular season championship in next Saturday, 1 week from today. So Colorado State has two more huge games, but right now they will almost certainly tie or win the Mountain West, which will be a first in Larry Stacey's 5-year reign here. And interestingly, he said to me after the game that they are coming together because there are only 7 guys, and they're able to do a lot more things because they've come together as a true unit with only 7 guys. But he also said they're in a unique position because they have him under his thumb, and it's usually the other way around. And the only other time that I can imagine that happened was 2012-13, his first year when he had a group of 5 seniors, and those seniors were back. Those guys that were seniors then were back tonight. Dorian Green, Jesse Carr, Greg Smith, and so many more on a special night here at Moby Arena. And luckily, Larry Stacey's team got the win. And one more quote from Emmanuel Amagbo. He said that God was with them, and he said specifically that that's what his name means. Emmanuel, I looked it up, it does. So at the end of this game, Colorado State wins 56-55. They improved to 20-9 on the season, 12-4 in the Mountain West. And then next Tuesday they host Wyoming, in the Border War here at Moby Arena, looking to get one more win at home to close this 2016-2017 season, which has been full of ups and downs, and now a huge up as Colorado State is in position to win the Mountain West. Thanks.